Good day. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Atari 8-Bit Gameplay. This is called something in German, which I will attempt momentarily. Weltraumkolonie. Weltraumkolonie. Okay, why, what? I don't know any of these words. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know many of these words. Design and program by Ken Madell. 1980. Spinnaker. Oh, interesting. Spinnaker. Huh. Für die Deutsche Fassung 84. Does that mean there's an English version of this game? 1 minute, please. What the heck? Oh, 1L. Okay, maybe that's... There we go. Ravensburger. Interesting. German release of Cosmic Life. Oh, so there is an English version. Huh. Okay. So, oh, Conway's Life. Okay, I am familiar with the... Okay, well, hang on a minute. There's more to it. Well, there's an English version of this. I'm not sure if it matters for me. Cosmic Life. Huh. Okay, well, anyway. So, Cosmic Life in English. Maybe I should... I mean, I have no problem playing it in German, assuming it doesn't require any language skills. Ravensburger and Spinnaker. I am going to sit here for... You know what? I'll pause. Hang on. I'm going to look into finding Cosmic Life, and I shall return momentarily from your point of view, instantly. Here we are. Spinnaker, Cosmic Life. Interestingly... Oh no, never mind. Never mind. Alright, so I did have a quick read through of the manual as well. So, number days continuous with storm start new games. 1 number days. I assume that means number of days. It said you can go from 1 to 250. Not sure why you would want 1. Oh, there we go. 10 to 250 maybe. Okay, start game with storms continuous. Yep, that all sounds like what I want. So, this is based on the game, the mathematical game by John Conway called Life, where it's sort of a cellular automata, if that means anything to you, which it may not. The idea is to place 5. I think it starts when you place 5. Oh, maybe not. Okay, so... Oh, wait a minute. Why are we on day 250? Or what's happening here? Maybe not. Okay, let me... Do I have to place more? Oh, there we go. Okay, so I assume this is now running. It is now... Oh, okay, so the days are fairly rapidly moving along. Storms are to be avoided. I don't know if they do anything to the cells. So there's rules for how the cells propagate, and maybe I should have explained this in the single mode, but basically any cell with 1 or more... No, that's not right. Any cell with 2 or more... that's not accurate either. Any cell with 0 or 1 neighbors, including diagonals, will die. Any cell with exactly 3 neighbors will have a new cell born. So basically what's going on here is that these are oscillating, and any cell with 4 or more neighbors will die. So take a look at this line here that I'm right by. So in the middle here you've got... I don't know if I can pause this or not. Maybe not. Okay. So anyway, so the middle one here, right above, will have one born as well as below, and so basically these are oscillators. If I add some cells here, you'll see some different behaviors, and looks like you get points based on how many. So those will all die. Those will die as well. Oops, I wasn't going. That's not actually what I was going for. I'm trying to make basically a little square. Oh, I didn't do it fast enough, I guess. There we go. So now that's a stable configuration. Each cell has exactly 3 neighbors, and so none are born and none are dying here. In this case, each cell has exactly 2 neighbors, none are born, none are dying. So you get the idea. Now, these things are, these ones are dying out. You'll see they'll disappear. This one up here, I'm not sure what this is still an oscillator. So you get these sort of circular or oval shapes, they're stable. Now I can disrupt that by adding some cells. Oh, so that's interesting. Now that one I think is evolving into something stable, maybe, or disappearing, but it's also running into the edges of the screen. So let me see what happens there. Oh, that just goes to a big old square. All right. Yeah, this is, interesting stuff going on over here. And then, of course, if they grow and occupy more space on the playfield, then things get interesting. Well, this is kind of interesting. It's like a dynamic version of the game of life. I actually programmed in BASIC an implementation of this, not this game, but the Conway's life simulation way back. I don't know. I doubt I have that program anymore. I guess you're supposed to avoid the storms? Oh yeah, they knock you around. Okay. Ooh, no, big deal. So basically, the storms don't add a hell of a lot. They don't take anything off the board, meaning they don't do anything to the cells. So you might as well play without them, to be honest. They don't really add anything. The scoring mechanism is kind of interesting to me. So I've got a big old mess of stuff happening on the board here. Looks like it's gradually thinning out, though. Well, maybe not. That might be an illusion. So this was a game that Conway played on paper, and I did myself when I was a teenager. When I first heard about it, read about it in a book, probably, most likely, a mathematical recreation book of some sort. Okay, so there's stuff dying out over there, and here. Interesting. And yet, surprisingly, things will sort of, like when you have a very complex field like that, things will sort of spring back into profusion once in a while. So that's going to disappear. Oh, of course, there was one that I didn't. Yeah, anyway, it did. So things are, it seems gradually dying out, and I'm obviously not adding anything to the mix at the moment. Can I just sit off on the side? Oh, look at me, I can go right off the screen. That would be better. Yeah, the storms don't add anything. Really. So it looks, well, I could be wrong. Those blobs in the middle. Oh, thanks a lot. Those blobs in the, well, no, they're mostly disappearing. Looks like we are headed for a, once again, though I could be wrong, but it looks like things are sort of gradually dying out here. We've got 2 stable islands off on the top and on the far right there. And it seems like things are petering out in the bottom left and center there. Yeah, thanks for nothing. Although, for God's sake, although it can be deceiving. Like sometimes it might spring back into massive life. It's tough. Okay, yeah, the storms don't add a damn thing other than annoyance. It's tough to simulate these large things on paper because it requires very meticulous checking of each cell to see what's going to happen in the next generation. Although you get good at it after a while, but you would use a lot of graph paper basically. Yeah, so this colony down here is surprisingly persistent to me. There's an oscillator there, but it looks like this one's going to grow. That's stable. That's a stable shape. Oh yeah, that one interfered with the oscillator. I don't know what's going to happen here. It looks like it might be moving towards stability or death even. This blob here is what I'm talking about. Interesting to watch. I think it's interesting to watch. This is probably going to be one of the videos where people look at it for 12 seconds and go, what the hell is this? Okay, anyway, that doesn't matter to me. Oop, I accidentally added a block, a cell. I just want to see, right now, I just want to see what happens with that blob, the ever-evolving blob of cells. It looks for a little while like it's going to be done, and then it kind of pulses right back into life again, into lots of cells. It's one of the things that's so fascinating about this is the behavior of it is unintuitive. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. There are shapes that are called that move, sort of traverse a grid. They're called gliders. I don't know if we've seen too much of that in this, although if they're interfering with other things, they disappear. Okay, looks like we're in a bad shape over here. Oh, maybe not. Number 4. They sort of traverse in diagonally across the screen. Yeah, the blob is continuing to evolve. It left us one stable island behind. 2 stable islands behind, I guess. Almost like a pinwheel for a second. Oh, it interfered with that stable island finally. On the far right there. So, fascinating to me. Less so to the viewer, I think. This is very interesting, actually, for me. What will happen? You see little bits and pieces that are definitely going to disappear, but then other things pop up in what feels unintuitive ways, but it's just following those basic rules that I laid out. Yes, thank you very much. And there are other types of cellular automata. I think Conway himself even... Oh, there's a glider. This one here, that's a glider now. It's going to move diagonally down and left. Eventually it'll hit the border of the screen. So evolving shapes will sometimes spit out gliders. There are things called glider guns that periodically generate gliders. There's all kinds of stuff that has been sort of discovered about the whole world of mathematical world of cellular automata. Now, because the simulation has its set boundaries for obvious reasons, especially on an 8-bit computer. Oh, it wraps. Look at that. I did not know that until just now. Very interesting. And I guess that's one way of dealing with the boundaries of the world. It's like you're on a ball, kinda, sorta. Look at how big it's getting again. So the glider there, if it remains uninterfered with, will glide off the screen, and eventually it'll probably collide with something in the middle there. I mean, I'm not really doing much of anything other than watching this evolve, but I am finding this to be quite interesting to watch. So, if you're still watching, thanks, I guess. If you understand what's happening, it is interesting, or it can be interesting. We've got things dying out again. Boy, they must have some interesting boundary check rules for that the borders of the screen. Or neighbor check rules, I mean. Seems like that would be kind of challenging to do. Oh, look at that. It's dying back to almost nothing. And will it explode again? Oh, wait a minute. Stop with the storms. I didn't realize they were just an annoyance. So now it's interfered a little bit with some of the stable. Oh, how did that glider turn into a block? That's weird. Maybe it's only the sides that wrap? Must be. Must be only the sides that wrap. Alright, well we are just about done with the 250-day simulation. I might take a few minutes in one of the other modes to just sort of maybe try to explain a little more how these things actually work. Yeah, it's exploded into, oh, see, it goes from a large structure with lots of cells to a mostly empty structure. We've got two oscillators on the side here, this one and one that kind of wraps over the edge of the screen right here. Wow. You just never know what you're going to get from looking at it. That's one of the things. Like it's called life because it creates these complex patterns that can sustain themselves for a long time or forever or die out completely. On an infinite field, I think they either tend to sort of spread out infinitely or then evolve to a stable state quite often, unless gliders come along and disrupt things. I think there's other types of gliders as well, larger structures that will sort of self-propagate. There we go. There's my score without even trying very hard. 13,233. I'm the king of the world. How do I... There we go. Number of days, continuous with storms. How about no storms? Because they don't do anything. 2 is single move. And number of days. I'm just going to start. I think it should still be set at 255. So here we go. I'm just going to set up a couple of things here. So this cell here, including diagonal, upright, up left, down right, has 8 potential neighbors. It has no neighbors, and because it's all by itself, it will die. Same thing with these two. They don't have any neighbors besides each other, and one neighbor is not enough to sustain life. So that will die. This one here, if you look at the cell, I'll use my right wingtip there as the pointer. So this cell here, imaginary, like imagine you're on a grid, which shouldn't be too hard to imagine because they're rectangular. This one here has 2 neighbors. This one here has 1. This one here has 1. This one here has 1, 2, and this one here has 3, and this one here has 3 because of the diagonals, right? So you'll get a cell born there and a cell born there, but these end ones will die. So it calculates the grid all in one go. The end ones will die. The middle one is stable because it has 2 neighbors. Remember, 2 or 3 neighbors is stable, and then 4 or more they die, and 1 or less and they die. So the only stable configurations are 3 neighbors. 3 neighbors is the only thing. A cell will be either born or stay alive if it has 3 neighbors. So if I run the clock, and I'm not sure how to do that. Alright, I need to go look at the manual apparently. I shall do that real quick here. Single player mode, single move game. 2 players. Continuous move game will be played. No storms, 2 players. No, 1 player. Well, they take turns. Interesting. You can play single move game. Game variations for 1 player. Well, why did you not just single move game? Select the number of days, select no storms, move one of the flying saucers off the screen, move the other. You mean move the other. Press the joystick button on the off the screen saucer until 1 day passes. Remember the joystick button of the off screens. What? Remember the first day does not pass until you press the joystick button a total of 10 times. Press both joystick buttons. Oh, Jesus. Okay, hold on. I need to set up the second joystick. I'm pausing.